the only one podcast, and may it be the Prince of the Universe. Hi, folks, I'm Matt.
And I'm Wes.
Hey, yo, welcome back.
Hey, so good to be back so quickly.
That's so quickly, just like that, man. It's amazing.
Wow.
Hey, you're going to see, or you've already seen, by the time this premieres, I just thought about that.
Yes.
You're going to see Guns N' Roses.
Yes, in Dallas.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, big Guns N' Roses fan.
Mm-hmm.
Have been for decades.
Since 1988.
I think if anyone is a child of the 80s, Guns N' Roses was your favorite band at that time. If you enjoyed music, that was my favorite band back in the 80s. 90s, early 90s still rocking it.
They were made for, MTV made Guns N' Roses.
That is true. That is true. And Terminator 2. Kept them alive and well for me. In fact, when I go to sing karaoke, it's going to be Guns N' Roses. You Could Be Mine, Sweet Child of Mine, something like that. Just fill it in. Welcome to the Jungle. It's going to be something like that. Which leads me to a story that I just now thought of. You may remember this.
I know exactly where the story's going.
So we went to Chelsea Street Pub.
Yep.
One night. It was you, me, Casey. I can't remember who else was there. I just know Casey was there and you were there.
It was a bunch of us.
Was Cass there?
It was when my ex and I were moving, and it was a going away thing. It was in 2000.
Oh, was it really? Yeah, it had to be.
2001, something like that.
Very early. Very early. I'm fresh out of college, about a year or so out of college by then. And we went to Chelsea Street Pub to do some karaoke and just have fun.
Sure.
Casey was lit. He borrowed a fuzzy, was it cheetah hat, cowboy hat, and wore that around from someone. Casey is a big old bald, buff dude, cop now, right?
Yep.
But he was rowdy and rowdy, and bowdy, as they say.
Odele.
Yeah, Odele, man. And so every stinking song that night was country. And it was, we're talking like slow country. This is a country love song. I love my tractor.
It was a lot of Hank Williams Jr., Reba McEntire, Judds.
Yes. And
good stuff.
And if there's any music genre I despise, it is country. I can't stand it.
I don't share your hatred for
I know you don't
country.
share it. So anyway, I get up there and I sing some Guns N' Roses. It's so odd. It's so out there. My song is way different than anything. It's loud.
We collectively did that.
Well, okay. What do you remember what Guns N' Roses song it was?
We did Sweet Child of Mine.
Okay, Sweet Child. It had to be because we're singing Sweet Child of Mine. Okay, after it's over, I yell out over the mic, "Country sucks," to a room full of country people. And that's when the crowd turned ugly. And the DJ would not let me come up there and sing anything else. And then I remember...
You had the Scarlet Letter. A
very scary Casey threatening to punch or beat up the DJ. He said, "You let Cuckoo sing this!"
Well,
with his pink fuzzy cowboy hat on. And were we asked to leave or did we leave? I think
we left.
We left? Okay.
Yeah, we left because we knew that
we were not welcome at that point.
Yeah, we were not going to be on the stage any.
So
we weren't going to get any stage time.
I guess now looking at it, I may have been a jerk and ruined your night. I'm sorry.
I don't think you ruined it.
Okay.
It was fun.
But I had to stick that in there.
You going out and drinking and being rowdy is the object of that is being asked to leave.
But that was so much fun.
You'd rather be asked to leave than be the last person in the bar.
That was so much fun. Yeah. But that is a good memory that I have.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember exactly what the occasion was until you said that. Yeah. So that was when we all went to Memphis for a few years, right?
Well, St. Louis for a year and then Nashville for 6.
Never mind. Nashville. Yeah. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Nashville. Y'all lived in Nashville for years. I remember that. Anyway, Guns N' Roses, November Rain was, to me, just classic. It's awesome. And then, of course, the band broke up. Axl always promised there was going to be one. It was going to be great. You heard a ton of rumors. One of the rumors I always heard, it was going to be like November Rain. It was going to be just one big epic, symphony or whatever. And something like Metallica did later on. Did they do that later on in the 90s?
They did a symphony album,
which was great.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I was like, wow, this is really good.
S&M, I believe is what it's called.
Yeah. And I was like, wow. And then Axl like, yeah, we're going to do something like that. I was like, wow, I can't wait. We've been waiting, but I can't wait. And now finally, we have a new single out, Absurd, right?
Correct.
What'd you think?
Well,
I didn't even know it came out. Someone else had to tell me.
it's a rework song from right when Chinese Democracy was, he first
Oh, I did
came
not know.
back.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a song that was originally called Silk Worms. So it's that song
reworked. Oh, okay.
with a lot of oddly offensive terminology. It's not It's So Easy,
Right.
but it's just it's an odd song.
Okay.
But, you know.
It sounded all right. I'm not going to say it's a classic or one of their best, but it sounded fine. Sounded like regular Guns N' Roses. That's the only thing to me. I was like, is it going to be different? Is it going to sound different? I know a lot of the band's back, right?
Yep.
And you can tell because it feels like a Guns N' Roses song.
Sure.
Just one in the whole list of things. Perhaps I knew it sounded like Silkworm.
Silkworms. It was from 2001 when Axl came back with his new Loaded Guns.
I only listened to that once and never listened to it again.
Yeah, that was Chinese Democracy. Came out 2008.
Okay, because it sounded so different. I was like, nope.
It was very grand, kind of how we talked about DC movies.
Yeah.
Chinese Democracy is very like, man, this is a lot.
Yeah. I listened to it once and never listened to it again. That's why I didn't know.
That's what a lot of people did.
Okay, but this one feels more like Guns N' Roses to me. So when is this album out?
Well, the single's out, but there's no idea when that album comes out.
Oh, geez. Okay,
Yeah.
never mind then. I
Yeah, I
thought
think
when you release a single, the album is going to come out in the next few months.
Well, I think that with most artists, that's how it works. But
Well, for Weezer, when they release something, they'll release one or two songs, and then 4 to 6 months later, the album comes out.
you got to look at Axl's not. He's put
Yeah, that's true.
the Spaghetti Incident was 93 and Chinese Democracy was 2008.
I know.
So
He takes his time. But he's got the whole band back, and they've been back for a while.
Yep,
now,
5
right?
years.
5 years now. So yeah. So nice to see Slash and Axl make up because money is there when they're together. They're magic when they're together. No matter if they hate each other, they still make money together.
well, I think that
it's
to
like
go
if
back,
you and Fred went on tour and made millions of dollars.
I don't think that would have worked. That would be the Ungrateful Dead.
I'd have bought tickets to see that.
Yeah, I bet you would.
As RoboCop said, I'd buy that for $1.
But I was going to say that the visual of that band is why I think it resonates so much, and why the tour is so successful is because Slash looks like Cousin It from the Addams Family, and he's always looked that way.
Yep, hasn't changed. You never
and
could see his
Duff-
face back in the day, so it's not like he's changed. Any.
Right, and Duff looks like he looks like Iggy Pop and
Yeah,
Prince Adam put together from Masters of the Universe. And Axl's Axl.
Axl's Axl. Yeah, Axl's Axl. Is he still big? Or you lose some weight?
He looks a little bit better on this tour.
Okay,
Yeah.
because back in, was it 2008?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think
He'd ate a few,
here's the
meatball subs.
okay.
I'm not
But
picking on
no,
him.
no,
I'm
no,
just
I'm
saying.
not, and I don't want to. This is for all of us.
Yeah.
I'm 44. I commented on Matt's weight when I saw him earlier. He's has this unusual ability to just go on a diet.
You're looking so far.
And does so well. Well, I know, but your clothes stay the same big size on you, so it's very obvious you've lost weight.
Oh.
But anyway, here's my point. When you're a visual thing for what Axl was and what Slash was and what that band was, and part of what people remember you by is wearing combat boots and white biking shorts and maybe a jacket,
Okay.
your visual, you're never going to, there's only one Mick Jagger.
There's only one Tyler Perry. No, Steve Perry. Steve Tyler. Goodness gracious. Never mind. Keep moving on.
Yeah.
Butchered that one.
Yeah, you sure did.
I
You hit a
did.
lot of different
Sorry.
genres and
I did.
demos.
I went
and-
everywhere with that one.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Anyway, I think that success for all of us is hard to achieve, and it's even harder to maintain. And I think that
But
that's
those rock stars stay away from jelly donuts for the most part.
Right, but I don't think most bands were not built off the visual.
Okay, no, you're right. Grunge.
No, I'm telling you, the visual side of that band
Okay.
almost, it is as much, it's 50-50. Part of what works with November Rain is because the video. It's not just a 9-minute song, it's a video and all this other stuff. So, anyway.
Okay.
It's a curse.
But still, this will be exciting. This is, I don't know, I've lost count of the times you've seen Guns N' Roses.
This will be number 10.
10.
Yeah.
Because you've gone several times.
Mm-hmm.
And
10 times since 2011.
Is this your favorite type of concert to go to? Or you just like the band?
Because
sometimes the atmosphere, I don't like country music, but Megan has dragged me to dragged me to one Garth Brooks concert, and the other one I went happily to because he puts on a good show.
Hey man, I like getting dressed up. I like wearing tight jeans and cowboy boots. What can I say?
I don't do that, but he
you
puts on,
you don't. I don't wear a puka shell necklace.
The dude's 60, and he has more energy than me on stage. I mean, he sat there and did a 4-hour set with a 45-minute break while his wife got up and sang. I was like, and he was like not sitting in a stool too. And this is the second show because he had to double up on his shows to make more money.
Well, I think he's known for being quite the showman.
Yeah, and so with him, it's about the show, and I appreciate the stamina, and I enjoyed the concert, even though I don't like country.
Sure.
So, is it I guess my question is it just the band, or is the band in the atmosphere?
It's both.
Both. Okay.
Yeah.
It can be both. I'm just asking. So,
yeah.
So
they're definitely who I've seen the most, but
I was going to say I don't think you've seen anyone more than Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, but I mean that was the band that I grew up on.
Right. No, I totally agree. I don't fault you for that either. Seeing your favorite band over and over again, even if it's the same concert, I'll be honest, I would have followed if they're hitting a few cities next to me and everything. If it's good, I would go. Yeah. I would go because it's just so much fun. But then I've also been to concerts where some bands that I liked open up, or they're in the middle, or they do their show, and it's not good. It's not good. You're like, oh, what happened?
It's hard to find your place in life on that stuff.
Yeah, it's not every time. But anyway, though, who would be your second most?
Ooh, Smashing Pumpkins.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I know that you've gone to one or two. I didn't realize you'd gone to a lot. Oh, never mind. Holy cow. I've never seen that.
Yeah.
He has a tattoo.
Of the Melancholy album.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's all, to be fair, it's on the inside of your arm.
Right,
so
unless I'm like...
It's covered up. Unless you're like trying to say, hey, check out my bicep, I would never see it.
Right. And nobody sees it because nobody wants to see my bicep, so that makes sense.
Oh, you still got the buffness going on there.
So...
You're in good shape.
I would say Smashing Pumpkins.
Okay.
I've only seen them once, though. But.
Nice. So you're not a Prince, Purple Rain, Heath fan? Isn't that his man?
Oh, yeah.
Prince?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Prince didn't speak to me the way...
The Guns N' Roses spoke to you the way Prince speaks to Heath.
Yeah. Everybody has something, and I think that band was my something, the way...
You'll have to, if you don't know who we're talking about, you have to go back a few podcasts. Yeah. But Heath is the big concert goer. He goes to a lot of things. Does he have a favorite band or person he goes to see now? Who?
Not really. I know he's going to go see Genesis.
Oh, that's right. They got back together. I forgot about that.
I think he flies out next month or something.
Honestly, I love Genesis. I loved Genesis. I loved them. I loved their music. I hated
Scary
when Phil
Ghost
Collins left. No Scary Ghost in Genesis. Mm-mm. No, Genesis is fun. They were a fun band. And I remember when he went on his own, I was like, who would care about some guy named Phil Collins? It's terrible. And turns out everyone.
So much what you know, huh?
Yeah, I'm telling you, it sure does.
Dummy.
But I remember I thought that. I was like, he's going to go off on it. He's nothing without the band. You always say that. And then, of course, like, oh, okay, well, there goes Genesis. You never think they're going to get back together, but these days, I guess everyone will eventually. I mean, I can't say that, but most people, if they're still around,
they're going to get one more payday.
Because that's right. There's a big payday for nostalgia, and nostalgia music still there.
You can't look the way you used to, but sometimes listening to a 4-minute song, you can feel the way you used to feel.
Yeah, I'm sure there are, but what's the crowd level like? I mean, young, old, mix? Mid-age?
For guns, it's like a family thing. It's like,
Shut up.
no, it's Disney.
No, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Well, that makes sense because you loved him. You want your kids to see him. My dad took me to a James Taylor concert when I was young.
You know, it's like people took, for Kiss and things like that. So, yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Well, we're halfway through the podcast now. Better get to the topic.
Yeah, no
Actually,
kidding.
I'm going to split this topic title up now. This is good, though. I enjoyed talking about
Guns
this.
and blank, whatever
Guns
we're
and
going to go
blank.
to.
Guns in theaters.
Yeah.
Well, that's not the best title. Never mind.
Yeah.
Try some.
Dial that one back.
Okay, so one of the topics that Bruce and I had planned, because we touched on a little bit, we touched on the future of theaters. We did this last year when COVID had hit, wondering, is it going to kill? Is it going to change the way we do things? Well, now it's been a year and a half, over a year and a half now, and theaters are still reeling, and Hollywood is kind of not happy. And we now have this, we've kind of morphed. HBO Max led the way in this. I didn't want to get into this topic last week, but HBO Max kind of has pioneered the way. And everyone, Disney Plus would do it for a premium. You could buy the movie based on DVD early. Yeah, a gimmick. But HBO Max, like, hey, guess what? Everything, same day release. Let's bring it. And It's been great. It's been a boon for their numbers, too.
Yeah.
Because you can't get it on the two-week free trial and just stop. You have to purchase it. And it's a great deal for all the movies that you're still going to be getting.
Yeah.
That you're still going to be getting. And before this all happened, I was not the biggest movie theater guy. Wes may explain this better than I can, but he knows. At our movie theater, there can be some rowdiness, some undesirables that just walk into a movie. We're talking halfway into the movie and talking and laughing. And the last time Megan and I were in a movie, that's exactly what happened. Talking, laughing, running around, adults old enough to know, until someone went and tattled and the movie theater came in. They all scattered and ran. Yeah. And that kind of hooliganism is like, that's why I don't like going to theaters anymore. I enjoy the popcorn. I enjoy the big screen. That's all fun. That's all good. But for me, I'm like, I never went opening night, hardly at all. I'd go the second week or the third week because the crowds had died down. Preferably if we could do it on the Tuesday discount or even on a regular Wednesday where there was no one there. That's what I preferred if we went. And then it got to where if I was just too busy because I was traveling a lot back then, we just wait till it came on Redbox or Net, whatever, and rent it and watch it that way. And now that it's streaming, I think we've only watched one movie in theaters this year. If I think about that, we've only seen one movie in theaters this year. And last year, I did see a lot of movies. I saw one with you. I saw a lot of, because they were re-releasing those old movies. Mm-hmm. And I told you, I was like, Ferris Bueller.
And they're still doing that.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Well, I'll have to check that out because that is what got me excited. Going to seeing those old movies that I didn't get to see as a kid. When we didn't get to the movie theaters that much as a kid. I didn't.
Even if you saw something when you were a kid, you want to...
I'd love to see it again on the big screen. Yeah. So all that stuff I was watching and love it. 2020 to me was one of the best years for movies with me because I got to see all the old classics, or what I think is old classics, back on the screen again. It was wonderful watching Empire Strikes Back. Mm-hmm. It was wonderful watching it. It was such a joy to see it on the big screen. That is what Star Wars was made for. It was made for, as wonderful as the Blu-rays look, nothing looks as better as it does on the big screen when it comes to Star Wars. And I just looked at that and I just enjoyed that. I knew the movie. We both knew the movie like the back of our hands, and it was still the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting that this year. I'm watching tons of streaming. Obviously last week we talked about Suicide Squad, but for me, streaming seems to be convenient for me, and I like it. I don't mind it. Disney will eventually drop it from the premium price and put it on the regular plan. Not too long away, just maybe a few months from the actual release. And some movies are still theater release, and I'm fine with that. That's fine. But what I wanted to ask you is, how do you feel about streaming? How do you feel about do you feel it's wrong to take away the old classics in the movie theater, or how are you feeling about the movie theater in general? You were about to form some thoughts before we went live, so you take it away.
My thoughts are basically that movie theaters kind of did this to themselves. And
I 100% agree with that.
And show business did it.
100% agree.
Part of it is there used to be something about going to a movie theater because there were lots of different movie theaters that were different sizes that had, you would have to go here to see that movie. You may have 4 theaters in a tiny town like ours, but all 4 were playing different movies. And then when everything became very corporate owned with Cinemark and things like that, it killed the
the megaplex of Cinemark, 16, 20 theaters. I mean, come on. The old Cinemark had what, 8, 10 maybe?
It's kind of like going to when Blockbuster took over renting movies. Instead of you could go to Karen's VHS and Beta or whatever.
But you're right, because growing up, we had 3 movies here that I remember. We had Cinemark at the mall, which was the big one. That was the one you went to. And then you had Cinema 3, which would play anything that Cinemark didn't play. It's like they said, what are they playing? Okay, get the other 3 movies.
Right.
So if there's a movie that you wanted to see, and usually it wasn't a bigger release, but it was a movie that was out that you just wasn't in our area, it was usually at Cinema 3.
Yeah.
I rarely went to Cinema 3, but I'll be honest, I like the look of that. It had the old... Do you remember that?
That was awesome.
It had the old classic look. I missed the red curtain.
Oh, yeah.
I missed the red curtain so bad. But it had the old, like, these old, the Spielberg movie inside a classic, the concession stand booth. That is what, with the big lights shining around it, like Showtime.
Yeah.
That's what the Cinema 3 booth looked like, and the lobby looked beautiful. And I'm sad that someone bought it and just gutted it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, that was a beautiful looking theater when there was a movie I was interested in. And then the other one was Eastgate, which was our dollar cinema.
Correct.
The movies that had slipped through the cracks or were on their way out.
Yeah, that was their...
Yeah. It was your last hurrah. Do you want to watch it again for $1? You can. 50 cents on Tuesdays. And then sometimes they'd bring out movies that we didn't even get to see at all, and they'd bring them to the
that's where I saw
Eastgate.
Pulp Fiction for the first time was Eastgate. Because,
oh, really? Because you couldn't see it here.
Yeah, because they weren't going to show it.
Eastgate would pick up movies like that.
Right.
Because I remember they picked up a few. I can't remember what it was, but they picked up some movies. I was like, whoa, that never played here.
Right.
And so I went to go see it. And for $1? Yeah. And their concessions were cheap, too. I remember. So it was always fun to go to the dollar cinema back then. It's kind of crazy we had that. 50-cent Tuesdays and stuff, and that. It was so much fun. So we had 3 different theaters that played 3 different things, and so now it's all whatever's at the mall is definitely playing at Cinemark here. There's only one Cinemark too, by the way.
Yeah.
Only one conglomerate.
So I think
that
that to me is what they killed themselves. Because it doesn't have any type of
but bigger towns have AMC, have things, and they will play, there's going to be, in bigger towns, there's going to be the artsy. You've been in Nashville.
Yeah.
There's one that's playing the independent films and stuff.
I think that's...
So, but we're talking world, I'm not talking just locally.
No, but I think that's what hurt the going to the movies.
Okay, just all the monopolies coming in from AMC and Cinemark.
There's no charm into it.
Okay, that's true. It's all generic. It's all factory. But if you've been in one, you've probably been in them all.
Right. It feels...
Some, yes, are a little different than others, but basically it's cookie cutter, corporate shaped. You don't have the mom and pop. Eastgate and Cinema 3 felt mom and pop.
Yeah.
And Cinemark was your corporate, which was a different look than the other 2.
Sure.
So, yeah. No, I see what you mean.
I mean, I think a lot of it is linked to that, and I think...
So you're not talking about the movies in general. You're talking about the theaters in general.
Yeah, I think the theater business has helped kill movies. Because, like you said, if you've got 25 movies playing in a building, you're not going to have the staff that are going to be able to handle when other movies let out and people sneak in and do all this other stuff. And, we work with the general public, and, that's just kind of... You don't have the right staffing, that's what happens. Anyway, I think that's what has killed the movie business. And then companies wanting to repackage the same thing over and over and remaking classic things, and they just don't.
They won't let it go. They won't let it go.
Sometimes you pump so much entertainment out there, and it's just so much, you just get desensitized to it.
So would you say you aren't missing the theater?
I miss...
Today, the way it is now.
I miss the way it used to be.
You miss the way it used to be, but today you could care less.
No, I mean, I would like to go to see a movie. Okay. I just don't want to see it...
There.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that it doesn't feel special. So if I'm just going to watch this, then a lot of people are like, well, I'm just going to watch it at home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've just gotten too used to everything being a click away and being able to sit our fat asses down.
That's true.
And not move.
So I like streaming. It's convenient. I'm a brick and mortar guy, of course, old school, but I do agree with me where movies failed is the atmosphere. Now you can pick your own seats only because of COVID, but back then it was a free for all general admission, at least here. In bigger cities, it's probably pick your seats. But they'd oversell tickets all the time, or people would theater hop and you couldn't get your seats. The rowdiness, the just general don't care about the customer. They generally don't care about you. Here, Cal, get your ticket, get your popcorn, and sit down. Leave me alone. I'll just clean up later. I mean, there's a reason that I just dump my popcorn bucket just in the aisles, just for them to clean. They ain't care. Why
You're
should I
taking
care?
it out on the wrong people if you do that kind of stuff.
I didn't do
You're
that
better
stuff.
than that.
But the thing is, though, they don't care. They don't care. They don't care about it. I mean, you go and complain, they'll give you a free ticket. You'll give you a voucher or whatever.
I'm just saying that. I think that's what's happened.
It's just a lack of caring. There's no personalization with it or anything.
It's kind of like how the music business got killed by streaming. Streaming is going to kill this form of entertainment too, as far as the...
So do you think theaters are on the way out?
Yeah. I think the current...
Because Hollywood doesn't want that as much as they've been... before the pandemic, there was this big fight over how much the theater gets, how much Hollywood gets. Well, now no one's getting that money.
Right, yeah.
And Hollywood desperately wants you back in theaters because they were making more money
sure, of course.
per head there.
Yeah.
Whereas Black Widow for $30, that's hot. But you're splitting it between 4 to 6 other people, and it ain't that much now.
Sure.
You're getting a discount on it. Plus, you get to watch it again, where you go to the movies 2 or 3 times to watch the same movie if you really liked it. Now you just watch it once and watch it.
You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. I think that's the problem.
So this is the world going forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to change it, I think you need to change the theater business plan.
The atmosphere. Well,
that's the business plan.
Well, how would you suggest? I put you in charge of, let's say, Cinemark. Okay. I put you in charge of Cinemark. What do you do?
Trim the fat.
Meaning
we don't need to have 25 different movies playing.
Okay. But you have these big theaters. So
you
what
better
place?
come up with another entertainment part of it. Put part of it as an arcade. Let's go blow up part of this up, and we're gonna make it feel like an old school arcade in here.
Okay.
Make it like an
remodel some of these. I got what you're saying. Entertainment plus movies. There's things going like a Surge. We have a Surge activity center here. It's called Surge. But
once again, you'd have to have the proper amount of staffing and administrative people in place.
Right.
That are like, okay, if we're gonna we can't serve the same master, but how are we gonna make this work? Where I think that who is your demo? Who are you going to go after? And how are you going to get there? And what is the end result? Because it's going to take 5 to 10 years for this to pay off. I think it's a total different way of looking at things. And I think it's how the music business thought that they couldn't do that. And they were like, oh, well, we're just going to stamp out this thing. And it's over now. That's why artists, they don't make albums. That's why Guns is not going to put out a new album. Why should we if we can make $22 million this year going on tour?
Right.
There's no fun. And I understand being artistic and stuff, and that's why some of the guys and some artists do put out music, but they'll put it out under their own thing. It's not under the brand.
Gotcha.
It's under, hey, Slash and the Conspirators have an album rather than Guns N' Roses has an album.
Okay.
So I think that to me is where you say, okay, the horse has left the stall, but what can we learn from this? What is it that people are not, why are they not coming out? You talk to people, and I think that that's part of it. Nostalgia, the retro feel of things. You don't need to make it great. You need to make it feel comfortable.
Okay. No, that's good. I like it. It's a nice
That's why
idea.
people stream at home. They're comfortable. So
Right.
make that experience comfortable. It feels good. It's like when you said, I couldn't put my jeans on anymore, so I knew it was time to go on a
This
diet.
is before we went on the air, but go ahead.
Anyway, well, there's something about putting something on. It's a jacket that you wore or a pair of boots or something like that. It's that feeling, and that's what people... There is no more feeling going to a theater because, like you said, it sucks.
Yep.
It's chaos. I understand now that some theaters you can get alcohol and different things like that and order
Right.
food, and that's a good idea.
But I asked you in a broad setting, and that was your answer. That's a good answer.
Yeah, I think
That's a good
that
answer.
you should make things. If we've learned anything from the streaming power of Netflix and what Stranger Things did for people, is they're like, oh, I want to play Dungeons and Dragons again. I want to play all these ridiculous board games. I want to go ride my bikes with my friends.
Yeah.
I want to go to an arcade. I think that there's something there for going to see a movie with your friends and it not feel like a cattle call, like you said.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I like it. Hey, all right. Looks like we figured it out.
Yeah.
All right. So Cinemark, just put Wes in control, and he'll hook you up.
I have more to say about this than Suicide Squad. Sorry about the last one.
You did. I'm glad. All right, folks. That's it for now. We'll see you next time on Princes of the Universe.